Welcome to week 5 of the golfing year. And as always, there's action aplenty in the golfing world. And Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen, well, they're going to put it up on blocks and have a real good chinwag over it. And it's with great thanks to our friends at Ping. They'll help you play your best. You can arrange a Ping Club fitting from your local golf shop or professional. And the Golf Clearance Outlet. Head in store in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane or Perth, or online at golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. But now, let's hook into it. The #1 Australian golf podcast. This is Talk Birdie Simi.
Oui! Matthieu Pavon devient le premier Français vainqueur d'un tournoi sur le PGA Tour. Fabuleux! Qui l'eût cru pour son 3e tournoi en tant que membre à plein temps? Il écrit l'histoire du golf masculin français. T'es un champion, Matthieu. T'as un cœur énorme. T'es un grand, tout simplement.
How about that? I love hearing the commentary that's not ours in English language. It is so good.
Vive la France.
Could you speak French?
No, not at all. No, I can ask for a coffee and good morning and all that. Bonjour, oui, all that sort of stuff.
All that stuff. No, all I got is voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? That's all I know. I still don't even know what it means. What does it mean? It was a good song.
What was it? Hang on, what was it again?
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
No idea.
Is that Simple pour moi by Place Patron?
Don't know.
That's not. Voulez-vous
coucher avec moi ce soir?
Don't know.
You don't know?
No, it's Lady Marmalade.
There you
That's
go.
Lady Marmalade.
Marmalade,
Yeah.
It was a great win, though. And I thought he was going to do like another Frenchman did on that last hole, too.
Yeah, it looked dodgy, didn't it? I mean, when he had that shot out of the rough, I thought, what's the
Dodgy Pepper.
Yeah, Dodgy Pepper's down there going, it's thick as thick. And
Can't see the ball.
Can't see the ball.
Mm.
He did well to get that ball to stop too, by the way. I don't know how that happened.
It came out nicely, we'll say that.
We'll say that. Well, there's been a little bit of footage. I mean, we might as well talk about it. I mean, there's been a question mark about whether he put a foot behind the ball, but I've seen the vision, and you can't really see anything.
No.
I don't know what it shows.
Yeah. And if you're not sure what we're talking about, it's the Torrey Pines finish to the PGA Tour event on the weekend. The Farmers, Matthieu Pavon.
Yep.
Oh, I said that with a nice
accent.
accent.
You did.
Actually.
Great job.
Good.
You're not even drinking yet.
Not yet. That's later. It's too early. But yeah, he came home unbelievably well, especially with that little missed short putt on the 17th.
Talk us through the last hole, because there'd be a lot of people who had to nick off to work or were doing something on Sunday morning. And isn't it interesting that a couple of tournaments finish on our Sunday now, instead because of obviously what took place on Monday our time.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, you've got the NFL.
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly why because I was looking at on Friday. I thought, hang on, they've already played 2 rounds. That doesn't look right.
That's right.
Given the time difference. But what happened was, Pavon had a 1-shot lead over Højgaard, and also the other guy was Steven Jaeger, German guy. So you got a Frenchman, a Dane, and a German guy in the last group of a PGA Tour event.
It was the most international I've ever seen the PGA Tour of America ever in any tournament, without a doubt. I mean, first full page, there might at some stages during the weekend there was only about 3 American flags on it.
No, correct,
which was kind of good.
Yeah. Interestingly, a lot of people were talking previously to this about the 10 cards that the DP World Tour gave to. The PGA Tour gave 10 cards to the DP World Tour players from last season.
That's right.
That were not already exempt.
Correct.
And Nicolai Højgaard got one of them.
Yeah.
Pavon got one of them by birdieing the last 4 holes of the DP World Championship the previous year, and the guy he knocked out was Rasmus Højgaard, Nicolai's brother.
Incredible. Isn't that an incredible story? And then he goes on and wins really early.
Exactly. So he's got a 1-shot lead over Højgaard playing the last. Højgaard knocks it on in 2. You kind of think he's going to 2-putt for his birdie. Pavon pulls his tee shot left. He's up against the bunker on an upslope, and he hoiks it left. It was a terrible second shot. I'm actually going to do my masterclass on uphill lies, by the way, later on.
Well, you can tell Kazuma Kabori can help him out, and he can help out Matty Goggin as well, because we saw a couple. On what hole was it? 16. Yeah, 16. Yes. They both had trouble with it on Saturday and Sunday.
Correct, yeah. But Pavon had trouble with it on the final hole, hoiked it into the rough. And I've been in that rough before. It is not good down there. You've got a pond in front of the green. They've got the pin on the front left. And he's got to somehow... I think as he's standing over his ball, he's probably thinking, if I make 5, I'm happy. I'm going to get in the playoff. But here's one of the shots of the year. It looked like about an 8-iron in his hand. Hit the middle. There's a little ridge in the middle, funnels down to 10 feet. rolls it in for the victory, basically, and that's when they were going absolutely nuts in France, obviously, on the commentary. The American commentators, not so much.
No.
A little quieter.
That's always the case too. You can always, I don't know about you, but I reckon I can always hear the American commentators cheering against the European. He's, this is the big time.
Yeah.
Will he be able to handle it? That's all the commentary I do. Just on the commentary, Trevor Immelman, I never met him in my entire life. You must have
I know
at
Trevor
some
well.
stage. He's fast turning into my favourite commentator.
He's very good.
Oh, I rate him. I reckon he is absolutely sensational.
Yeah. Him and Finchy on the coverage together are great.
Yeah. Really good. And I love the fact that they are putting international voices on the PGA Tour coverage as well. I think it's just great.
Yeah. Frank Noblo's been a great one over there as well.
Frank's sensational.
Yeah.
And then you got a nice mix of everybody else. You get the cheesy American voices, the ones following the ball on the golf course. And you got that cheesy guy who, when we go to our breaks, but not their breaks, and he just gives a little wind down. He must have been doing that job for 30 years.
Yes. You mean the guy in between?
Yeah,
he says some stupid things though.
Yeah, he's
some of the stuff he says is ridiculous.
It's not golf. What he's talking about, but
he's golf's version of a fluffer, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I say that?
Well,
I just did anyway.
You
You can always cut that out, can't you, Dan? So
No, it's all right. It's too late.
It's
too late.
Yeah,
okay.
it's too late.
But this golf course, it's bizarre. Every time they play there, they always get a quality finish.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now, Mark, it's not a good golf course.
Oh, I've played it.
It's crap.
Yeah, I've played. I played it.
It's not a good course.
I played it in April, and it was right before Tiger Woods won the US Open there. So what year was that? 2010? 2008.
Yeah.
So I saw it when I was being prepared for a US Open, and it was a joke.
No.
It was an absolute. It was a joke.
So why is it a joke? Like, what's wrong with it?
Well, for the setup for a US Open, I mean, I never got to play in a US Open, but the setup, I was thinking, my God, I mean, they must have widened the field. They couldn't have had it that way the whole length. But my ongoing thoughts when I was there was, how could this place be?
Yeah.
Because it's set on the most beautiful cliffs you'd ever see.
The views are incredible, and they get that drone views or blimp views going all the time during the tournament, and there's a reason for that, because the views, it's making it look good when you're on the golf course is actually not. And by the way, there was a cracking view on the 17th tee.
Another one.
In the third round.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
You saw this?
Yeah.
Did you see this, Dan?
No.
2 weeks in a row.
Are you about to say what I think you're going to say?
Yeah.
There's a drone going around, just sort of going around, as it does.
On the
And
way to a break. Behind the
17th tee,
Oh,
the player walks down and just starts
Having a
relieving himself like we saw the other day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's comical.
That is too
It
funny.
must have been a drone, though, because if it's the blimp, the player would have known it was
Of
there.
course.
The drone's too small. You can't see it.
Well, apparently there was a camera up on one of those hang gliders that whiz around. There was a bit of hang glider action. Maybe he just thought it was a hang glider.
Maybe.
I did notice, though, there was no need for any pixelation. It was it was no issue. In fact, they tried, but they couldn't find pixels small enough.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But
You are pumping your own tyres up there, aren't you?
But and the other thing that happened over the weekend was Nikolai Højgaard, runner-up to Pavon on the PGA Tour event. Rasmus Højgaard, runner-up on the European
amazing.
Tour.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's
These-
incredible, the siblings at the moment.
Frightening.
I want to hear about the finish to the LPGA as well, because that's ridiculous.
Saw that.
Of course, Corder and Lydia Ko involved, but we'll do that in the Ping
Yes.
Global results. Nick Dunlap turned professional, and I reckon it's the smartest thing he's ever done in his life was not playing this week.
Yeah.
If he did play and miss the cut, it would have damaged the management's ability, I reckon, to get the best possible deal done. So maybe 5 times 20 million, 5 times being 5 years, tailor-made Adidas, which is what all over it. But he might have just, got rid of his signing bonus or something like that. They're big in signing bonuses over there. So maybe that he had a $10 million signing bonus as well, just thrown in. But maybe the $10 million signing bonus would have only been $5 million if he went to Torrey Pines and missed the cut.
Well, he said it was the hardest, easiest decision he's ever made. And the reason being, the easiest to turn pro because that's a no-brainer, but the hardest because he had to go back to his college and say to the guys and the coach, look, I'm turning pro. But apparently he's still going to live there near Alabama and sort of hang out with them, then just travel out of there. Isn't that interesting? Fascinating stuff. But the thing about Torrey
he's always lived in Alabama, hasn't he?
I guess so, yeah. But he wants to be around the guys, and he feels as though he's letting them down because he's leaving the team, obviously, and they're one heck of a team that they have there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But the tournament, Torrey Pines, it wasn't an elevated event, so he didn't specifically need to go because obviously the money isn't as big as the other events. I mean, they're all big these days, as we know. So,
but now gets the pick, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Now,
he's fully exempt, and he's in all the signature stuff
till the end of 2026. So,
correct. Nice
to win early. If you're out there and you want to turn professional and be a superstar, win early on the PGA Tour because your 2 years turns into all of 2024, all of 2025, and now all of 2026. So it's kind of 3 years.
Yeah.
So tell me this: if you won, let's say you won the last tournament before the FedEx Cup, if that was the tournament he won, then he's kind of done his dash, hasn't he? He might have gotten to the FedEx Cup on points with a win, plays in that, and then he's only got 2 years after that. So winning early.
You get 3 years, basically.
Yeah, get you 3 years.
Yeah. No, that's correct. Not bad.
Did you like his swing and all the swing analysis?
I saw it. And I thought, ooh. Yeah. Well, it gave me a sore back, like most of the young guys now. I mean, the tilt that they have, the upper body tilt through the ball and the hips clearing and everything. I mean, it's phenomenal, so much room, but chiropractors around the world are going cha-ching.
Yeah, and now I love talking about length, and I want to ask you about Matty Goggin too, because he said some things on the coverage on the Challenger PGA Tour of Australasia that I'm interested in about length. And he's 49 years old. When I first met him, when he came out on tour, he hit the ball a million miles. He was a bomber. But they're talking about shoulder and hip separation now as being one of the real big keys in hitting the ball a million miles. And when you slow down, Rory McIlroy and Tiger when he was flying and everything else, whatever the angle differential is, so let's say, to make it easy, shoulders turn at 90 degrees at the top of the swing and hips at 45.
Yeah,
alrighty, so there's
30 or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah. So I'm just going to make it easy. 90 and 45. When the hips start down before you get to the top, that 45 difference can turn into 60, 65.
Correct. Yep.
And that's where the enormous linkage is between club head speed with some players and club head speed with others. That Sargent, they measured his, and
that'd be scary.
It's a world record. Whatever he's doing, I remember reading about it, and I didn't see the numbers, but it's a world record.
Yep.
When
the more you can increase that angle in that transition, that's where they create that lag and that late speed, and that's where the power comes from, as you say.
Yeah, and Matty Goggin said something that was really interesting when Stacey interviewed him before the round. He said that he's spoken to some of the players on the seniors tour, and there were some European guys who had been helping him with speed.
Long drive guys.
That's them.
Yep.
I want to know what that is.
Me too. I wonder if they're swinging those, what are they, speed sticks?
Yeah, the speed stick things.
Ropes. I've seen people do those as well.
Did you notice his practice swings on the par fives when he really wanted to kill one?
As hard as possible.
Yeah, I've never seen. Yeah. I mean, I've seen kids do that,
Padraig
but I've never seen a pro do that.
Padraig Harrington does that as well.
Sorry, yeah. I've seen Patrick.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
So it's part of a drill. Yeah, I remember watching guys do it where they would get on the range and they'd have 10 swings as hard as they possibly could, and then they'd hit a golf ball. And I thought, they're wearing themselves out, but apparently they're just trying to create as much speed as possible. This is just on the driving range, not on the golf course.
Yeah.
But they're sort of replicating it there with Goggy. Like he took maybe 2 swings when he really wanted to go after it as fast as he possibly could.
You could hear it in the sound effect mics. It was incredible. And you don't hear that too often on the Challenger PGA Tour of Australasia with all the youngies.
Well, you certainly don't when we play. We just kind of go as opposed to whoosh.
Mate, we tee the ball up, we take 2 steps back, have a quick look, and walk in and go. You don't hear anything. Anyway, we need to talk to him. I want to know.
Okay.
How are we going to do that? Put him on the list, Dan.
Another one.
We need
another one on the list.
So we actually need to talk to him about 2 things.
Okay.
7 Mile Beach and 5 Mile Beach.
Yep.
And his clubhead speed drills.
Okay.
All right.
We've got a list of about 8 people.
What is the list again? It's
when are we going
James
to
Sutherland,
Cam Percy.
Percy. Well, next week we're going to get Gary Lisbon on promoting his new book.
Well, I love Gaz.
Yeah, he's great. One of the best photographers around and runs a lot of great golf days.
Yeah. Have you seen, you know how they do the the pictures when someone's won a British Open, the official British Open trailer for like 1991.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
No.
So it's the year that Baker Finch wins. Anyway, there's this character following Finchy with an Australian flag. Really long hair, looks like a complete bogan.
That's Gaz.
It's Gary Lisbon. I reckon I watched it a lot because I love Finchy. I loved watching him shoot 29 on the front nine, and I love the way he was talking to his caddy winning that thing. It was great. How do you like that one? Do you like that one? You know, when it's in the air and it comes down and it goes to 6 foot. You can just see
he knows it's pure.
He knows it's pure. He's just showing off to his caddy.
Yeah. Tiger did that with Stevie a little bit as well.
It's really nice. Yeah. But I reckon it took me 3 goes to work out that was Gary Lisbon running around with a dirty old Australian flag like a bogan.
So he's got a new book coming out, and we're going to have a chat to him next week, Nick, yeah?
Yeah, correct. Well, maybe either part of the pod or a bonus pod.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll see how we go.
Out of interest on books, golf books, if you had to pick one golf book that you'd recommend to somebody to read, what would the one book... I know what yours is going to be, Mark.
I know what mine is.
And it can't be yours, Nick. You can't recommend yours. It can't be your own book.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Mark, what would you recommend?
It's an interesting question. There are 3 books that I loved for trying to improve your golf.
Okay, you can have 3.
Okay, but I'm going to try and work out which one to pick. But I've in a roundabout way.
You want to make this a top 5 here? Or?
No. So Ben Hogan's 5 Fundamentals. You should just read it just for the sake of it.
Sure.
And throw some of the stuff out that doesn't make sense, and keep some of the stuff that does. Peter Thompson's book.
Very good.
Is a fabulous little book. It is a beauty.
I've got that at home. Is that Lessons for a Lifetime?
Yeah,
or
something like that. A beautiful,
really good.
A beautiful common sense book, which I really like. But I also like Tiger, This Is How I Play, which is really good. You know, and it's not, this is what you should do. Mm-hmm. It had nothing about that. This is what I do. And he went in and just describes that. And I think that's a really good way of doing it. Because when you read Ben Hogan's book, you feel like you got to do it because it's Ben Hogan and he's telling you what to do. So that's kind of good in a way. But
I think
Tiger Nicholas did
Golf
My Way.
Golf My Way.
Golf My Way.
Similar.
Yeah, and that's one of the great all-time books as well. There's another book, and you'll have to help me here, folks, because I've forgotten the name.
You asked for one here, Dan.
It's a novel. It's a novel, and it's a kind of a make-believe professional golfer. Mm-hmm. And I've forgotten the name. You might have read it before.
It's not The Golfer and the Millionaire. That's a good book. I like that one. Yeah, there you go. But
someone will know.
Someone will know.
It could be 7 Days in Utopia.
Is that it? No, it's not it.
It's not a book.
Anyways, it's about this guy's journey in professional golf, and it's a make-believe character. And
okay, all right,
I loved it.
It's funny you say Ben Hogan's book. I knew you'd say that one, by the way. That's what I thought you'd go to. But you've also famously said that book destroyed your career.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I bet.
That's right, because I combined Ben Hogan's swings with Greg Norman's one-piece takeaway. It doesn't work. Why are you laughing?
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny. It's funny. It's your number one book, or certainly one of, but it also destroyed your career.
I won't go down the instructional route like Mark has gone, because they're all very, very good. And there are other, Harvey Penick's Little Red Book is brilliant. I think that's great.
Steve Elkington's fantastic.
I haven't read Steve's, but I'm sure it's good. Book. Yeah, but I love The Match, which is by Mark Frost, and that's about the match that took place at Cypress Point.
Yep.
Phenomenal book. And then the other one...
Did they make that into a movie, The Match?
I think they were trying to. I know they recreated it with some of the tour pros. They might have Ricky Fowler and those guys out there, but it didn't really work out. But I think they want to make it into a movie. And then the other one I read years ago, which is phenomenal, it followed the PGA Tour for a season back in the 90s, A Good Walk Spoiled. That's great. Yeah. By Feinstein is his name. Yeah. Can't remember his first name. Really good. Anyway.
Can I throw one more in there?
There you go.
Golf is not a game of perfect.
That is great.
Now that
Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob, that is a fabulous book.
I spent a day with the doc. I don't know. I went and saw him, just to see. Yeah, basically a lot of the stuff I used to work on is very similar to what, and I loved his books. And I thought I'll spend a day with Doc and just have
Bob
a chat.
Rotella.
Bob Rotella, sorry,
is his name, yeah.
He's out of a golf course down in near West Palm Beach, Jupiter, called MacArthur. If you ever get down there, amazing golf course, a little private community. Nick Price designed. Yeah. Doc was brilliant. Loved everything you had to say, and it was basically kind of what I'd heard before, but it was a good refresher in my head. Wonderful human being, one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
We should send a copy to Matthieu Goggin,
Well, I didn't say it on the coverage, and I was dying to. I thought, no, I don't want to do it. But hey, this is a podcast. So you got a bit more free. But Goggy can find the grey cloud in every silver lining. That's for sure.
So last week you guys were talking about LIV and how it's getting very, very close, and there's still a lot of stuff up in the air. Have we had some developments over the last few days? Anything going on?
Well, you've been on the website, haven't you? Because we're playing in Mayakoba this week. I mean,
Starts Friday.
Starts this week.
Mm-hmm.
So do we know who's playing for who and what teams what and all the rest of it?
Because we kind of got excited that Lucas Herbert had signed with Ripper.
Yeah.
I went to the website, had a look. There's only 3 players on the Ripper team. Lucas is not on there, so I don't know if he's signed or not.
Maybe
the other one they were talking about was Adrian Moronk.
Yeah.
Went on there, couldn't find him. The other one, John Rahm, can't find him on in a team or on a website.
Their web designer's gone on holidays.
And it starts in a few days. Did they create a 13th team? Is he joining the Cliques or the Ironheads? No one knows.
Jeez.
At this stage, and when we're recording this, obviously.
Well, they'd have to know at some stage because
you know what'll happen. It'll probably come out the hour after we finish this.
You got to get the team shirt for John Rahm in XXL and let him get going. I mean, they've got to organise all that sort of stuff.
Well, the merchandise they could sell, leading into it, would be incredible from the get-go. But anyway, who knows?
Has he got his own team, John Rahm?
Well, that's the thing. They were talking about a Latino or a Spanish team. I mean, there was talks of Tyrrell Hatton going, maybe Grillo.
Yes.
So I'm not sure. Who knows?
I thought Scheffler was going too.
Hang on a second.
Who's this?
Scheffler. Come on.
Yeah, I thought Scheffler.
No, he's never going.
Oh, sure. Well, not. All right.
Hey guys, it's Pete here from Brisbane. How you guys going?
Hey, Pistol. Nice to talk to you.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, g'day Nick. How you going?
Very well, thanks, mate.
How did you know my name was Pistol?
Oh,
nickname.
Took a guess.
is it genuinely your nickname, is it, Pete?
It is, mate. It used to be a pretty shit-up pool play back in the day, mate. So Pistol Pete is what they call me.
Pumping your own tyres up there, buddy.
Just a little.
You got a question for us, Pete?
Guys, just I think you guys might have been talking about LIV. So
Yeah.
Just had a question about John Rahm's team. And I hadn't heard you guys' name, but I had actually heard it through the grapevine that it was supposed to be called Legions 8. This was a couple of weeks ago. And there's nothing on the LIV website. There's no teammates that have been sort of allocated to it. I know there's still a few guys that are qualified but haven't been allocated to teams. So my main question is, I'm wondering if Rahm's actually got equity in this team, is he going to want a bunch of basically nobodies to be playing for him, or is he going to want some guys that have actually got some status in the game? Or
well, I would have wanted to pick my own team if I was John Rahm.
Yeah.
If they're paying me that sort of money and they want me to move across from the PGA Tour where I'm making lots of money, I would have thought the management would have organised John to basically pick who he wanted to play with.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, and especially the equity side of it. If he's pumping money into a team and selling merchandise or however they're supposed to make money, because it's obviously not off TV, then he's not going to sell his LIV gear with guys that basically Kieran Vincent or someone like that. I've heard his name bandied about, but starts this week, this Friday, and they haven't got the full team's name.
I had a look as well. I didn't see anything on the website with Rahm. He wasn't even listed as a player. They've got his press release that he joined LIV, but there's no 13th team, and we don't know if he's joining the Ironheads or the Cliques, who already there's no ownership in those. So I thought maybe they've given him ownership in one of them, and he joins those teams. A little bit the same with Lucas Herbert. I looked up him to see if he was on the Ripper team, but no, nothing there.
No, and that was low key too. Yeah,
I thought they might have gone with a Spanish. I thought they might have gone with a Spanish team name for Rahm, like the El Toros or something like that. But Legion 8, is that what you've heard, is it?
Legion's 8 is what I've heard. It's not confirmed on the website. I've heard that through various media outlets, but I'm not sure what the what the actual relevance to John Rahm is. It must be something to do with Spanish War or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, but that's the name that they're banding about.
Could be breaking news from Pistol Peter. He's broken it first. Legions 8. So if that turns out to be the name, then you are on the cutting edge of breaking news, Pete.
Hey, Pistol, what's the handicap?
It's not great at the moment. I was a member at Caboolture for a few years. I got it down to about 10.2, and now through family, wife, etc., it's basically just a couple of rounds a year, work through work. So, but I'm an avid follower of golf and podcasts, this one especially.
But if you get down to 10.2, Pistol, you're a hell of a player. Well done for that effort. Good on you.
Thanks, Marco.
Righto. See you, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
Legion 8. Is that a Callaway product, Legion? Is it?
Don't know. I haven't heard of it.
All right. So, well, it's not on the website when we're doing this podcast, but you would imagine the news will probably break by the time the podcast comes out.
It probably will.
And this won't make any sense at all.
Okay.
Anyway, I think they'll get their ducks in a row. I think it's probably all planned. I imagine the bloke doing the website is taking a little extra holiday or broken a foot or something. He just hadn't been able to get it done.
They'll get it done this week. It
they
starts this weekend. It's going to be up sometime this week, and all will become clear.
And the other thing I heard they're doing is they're playing in Las Vegas on the day of the Super Bowl.
Oh, you're
They're
kidding me.
Going up against them. That'll be interesting.
They're going up against the Super Bowl.
Yes, indeed.
Well, that's pushing uphill.
I know. If they're looking for more eyeballs, it's not going to happen on that day.
By the way, I'm really, really happy that 2 tournaments have made way for the NFL. This week finishing on a Saturday in America, and also finishing on a Saturday at Phoenix. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, they used to finish early at Phoenix so they could watch the Super Bowl at night time, but they've just said stuff it. We can't compete. All the players want to go home and sit back and watch the Super Bowl. A bit like our grand finals here.
Yeah.
The NRL and the AFL grand final. You just want to sit down with family, with mates, go to a pub, watch it, and not have to worry. So they're just like us.
Well, Phoenix gets the biggest crowds of the year. I mean, they are incredible, and they're going to be one of the elevated events. And if they ever go to this global tour, there's talk about including them because it's such a massive event. I played there one year, and they had the Super Bowl on in Phoenix while the tournament was going on. So I played on the Sunday, and there wasn't that many people in the crowd, obviously, because they had the Super Bowl going on that afternoon or that evening.
Yeah, and just for a scope, 600,000
at least
was pretty much goes through the gates every single year to a golf tournament.
Yep.
That's including Pro-Am Day. I think Pro-Am Day is a big day. It's like 70 or 80,000.
And about 400,000 of them are drunk college students.
Yeah, that's right. It's a frat party. It's just one big frat party.
They have a place there called the Bird's Nest or something like that, and that's an interesting place at night, I believe.
Hey, they were talking about Lowry. I saw it just, and I want to ask you, the Grand Slam of holes in one. So, Lowry so far has got 16.
Really?
At Augusta. He's got
the
Island hole at...
I see where you're going with this.
He's got the Island hole. He's holding one there at Sawgrass.
Yeah.
I reckon...
You got to have, St Andrews in there, or...?
Well, I reckon... no, I'm just talking the best par threes, the most perfect 4 par threes in the world to have the Grand Slam on. So I would say, is it 7 or is it 6 at Pebble Beach? The little one down the hill?
Yeah, 7. Mm-hmm.
Right, so
that makes sense.
There's 3, and I'm going to throw Phoenix in there.
16.
Yep. So I reckon if some player can do that, then they've got a lifetime Grand Slam, the ace Grand Slam of golf.
Yeah, I like that. We should send that out to our listeners. What do you think the 4 best par threes to have holes in one would be?
Yeah, okay.
In the world.
Yeah.
They're probably going to say exactly what you said.
Yeah. What are your top 4? I've got a reasonable top 4 of par threes where I've had my holes in one.
See, I'd change mine to 12 at Augusta rather than 16 because 12's a left-hander's hole.
Yeah, that's right.
Much easier.
Yeah.
Sawgrass I like. I've never hit in the water at Sawgrass.
That's a mighty
on 17. So I think that deserves something.
Mate, on your tombstone, you've got 2 things now. You've never hit in the water at 17 and you beat Tiger Woods twice in match play.
Yeah. No, I like that. What else do we got?
No, what are your best holes? So I've holding one at 10 at Kingston Heath.
Yep.
7th West at Royal Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
I've holding one on... did I say 15 Kingston Heath as well? So
Have you really?
Yeah, they're one. And back in the old days when Yarra Yarra was the first hole was the long par 3, I knocked that one in too.
Wow.
So there's my best 4 holes where some of my holes in ones are anyway.
Well, I've only had 3 holes in one, so in tournaments. One was at Pebble.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 7?
What hole was it though?
It was on the 12th.
Well, that was a good hole.
I know. I wasn't even going for the flag. I was just trying to get it on the green.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get on the green, you do cartwheels all the way down to the green.
And I also had one at Torrey Pines.
Which one at Torrey?
But it was on the north course.
What's that north course like?
Actually, was it the south? No, it might have been the south. I think the 3rd hole. Is that a par 3? 3rd or the 4th? I can't remember. It's downhill and...
I know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know whether it's the 3rd or the 4th, though.
You've had a few, but neither of us had as many holes in one as Donald Trump. So
Yeah, that's right.
True.
let's get real here.
That's
Come on.
right. He's had 52.
What's he up to now?
52.
I don't know, probably 50.
Do you
He's had
think
50
the
holes in
Secret
one.
Service go ahead, when it's a blind par 3 and they, grab his ball out of the bush or out of the bunker and just pop it in the hole? Oh, Mr. President.
I got to say, he had got a bad swing for a 70-year-old.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
inside, it's around.
It's
but
effective, I'll say that.
I looked over your shoulder before, Marco, just
Yeah.
before the pod, and you were scrolling down some very, very interesting top 5. I'm not going to say what it is, but all I will
Well,
say, it's
I'll
a
say-
very, very interesting top 5.
I'll say what it is.
Okay.
My top 5 dodgy incidents in golf.
Okay.
And this, I'm not saying that Pavon was dodgy.
Well, if you haven't got
He's
someone
not in
on
my
there-
top 5, but it was pushed that it was a dodgy sort of foot pushing spot.
Yeah, I saw it and it didn't look too bad.
Doesn't
to
look
me.
bad to me
No,
either. I'm
no.
with you. But it made me think of the most dodgy things that I've ever seen in golf. And that's my top 5, and I'll see you on the 10th tee.
If you're enjoying the podcast, make sure to subscribe and never miss an episode. And maybe share it with a friend. Now back to Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen. This is Talk Birdie to Me.
So a big thank you to Ping once again. A lot of Ping players in the news this week, it's fair to say, Nicholas.
There are always ping players.
Ashley Lau,
in
who
the
shot the
news.
61 at Rosebud on Saturday, is a Ping player. The stacks of them. They're all over the place. So a big thank you to Ping. We'll get to the Ping Global results very soon. And also a very big thank you to the Golf Clearance Outlet. Sam Colosimo is looking after us like you wouldn't believe, and we want to look after him, and we want you to go and buy some of the best gloves you've ever seen for $13 each. 3 gloves for $39, and they'll send them straight to your house. You might as well get 6 of them if I was you, and they're very good, Dan. You'd love them.
Did I see a video of you in the Golf Clearance Outlet on Facebook today flogging off some gear?
Yes, I'm going back in there soon to do it again.
Oh, right,
Okay.
okay.
I like going down there.
Yeah, that's a good place.
There's some really good stuff down there, and it's being serious. All the big brands you wouldn't believe, drivers like you wouldn't believe. They're only one generation old, and the deals are unbelievable.
This top 5 you've been talking up.
Yes. So my top 5 this week is on the most dodgy things that I've seen in professional golf.
Top five.
At number 5, and I cannot believe this is at number 5 because this is an all-timer. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen,
Okay.
and it involves winning a major. The Open Championship,
Oh.
Gary Player
Oh.
has hit it through the green, and his ball is 1 foot from a wall. There's a crowd upstairs in the spike bar, and he's got down there, and there's gravel all over the place. He puts his putter behind the ball. He sweeps all the gravel away, and then instantly looks up and says, "Could you be quiet up there, please?" There was a look over there.
He's playing it left-handed too, right?
There's a left-handed sweep, and then a complaint about the noise. He went on to win the British Open.
Jeez, what
Gazza,
was-
that was dodgy.
I wonder what Stuart, our rules guide, say about that.
He'd be disappointed. Stewie would be very disappointed. In fact, we wouldn't mind some. Stewie listens every week. Stuart, we'd like some feedback on the Gary Player situation, if you don't mind. Jack Nicholas laughs about it too, by the way. He thinks it was funny stuff.
I bet.
Funny stuff.
Who did Gary beat? Do you know?
Don't know, though. He won by
If it
quite
was
a bit.
Jack, he wouldn't be laughing.
No, he won by quite a bit. Lexi Thompson, she
Yes.
got penalised for this, but when she marked her ball, she didn't do a dodgy thing and move it closer or anything. She just moved it to the left. It must have been a little hole or something, or an old plug mark, or just an old heel mark or something, or the ball just wouldn't sit there. She just moved it to the left.
Yeah, I remember that. She was leading the tournament at the time. Might have been the 3rd round or
Yeah.
something, or in the 4th, in a major too, I believe. And
That's
she either got
habitual.
2 or a 4-shot penalty. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's habit stuff. That's I wonder if that's the first time. That made me think that maybe that wasn't the first time Lexi done it. I'm sure she hasn't done it since. So that was a bit dodgy. This top 5, it actually could have been a top 7 because the next person I found 3 really dodgy things.
Well, if this person I think you're thinking of, he could have been the top 5. But anyway, I'll leave it at that.
We could have easily filled this top 5.
Allegedly,
we
by the way.
needed
Allegedly.
Well, this is just dodgy stuff. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's just dodgy stuff that I've seen.
Okay.
And if Patrick Reed's name wasn't in this list, then we weren't trying hard enough, not nearly hard enough. What he did in the Bahamas, I just shake my head. that he thought he'd be able to get away with that.
That was a sand incident.
The sand incident. The Torrey Pines number where the replay showed the ball jump into the air and move forward, not back down to the same thing, and he claimed that he had a plug ball. Mm-hmm. That's dodgy as hell. I mean, your balls, anyway.
Yep.
And also
searching for where the pitch mark was and pushing the hand
down the ball. Dodgy. And then in Dubai, where the camera clearly showed a ball going in one palm tree and then Patrick identifying his ball in a totally different palm tree.
Had the binoculars out. Yeah, that's my ball.
Dodgy.
Anyway,
that was comical.
So number 3, I put it there because there was 3 things from Patrick Reed.
You guys gave me grief about being top 6s and 7s. This has turned into a top 7.
Yes, it has. But in the same way, it's kind of
sure.
I'm just lumping one bloke into 3 dodgy
A,
things.
B, and C.
Yeah, that's right. Number 2, Tiger Woods took a drop from the pond at the front of 15, and he walked back
at the Masters.
Walked back. He didn't drop it close to the pond. He decided to go back as far as he'd like. It was that rule. So he went back as far as he'd like and then took a club length to the right to improve the angle. At the time, he hit the shot and got away with it. No one picked it up. Signed for a 72, 73, whatever it was, and made the cut. Then it was brought to the attention of the people at Augusta that he had done something wrong. For 200 years of golf, if you sign an incorrect scorecard, you are disqualified. But Augusta found the way to get Tiger back on Saturday and Sunday. So this isn't about Tiger. Tiger didn't do anything wrong. He just got looked after like no other player in the game had ever been looked after.
Well, the men at the Masters, they have their own, they can do what they like. And good. I mean, I play one Masters. I'm not sure if anyway.
Go on.
Rain delays.
Yeah, okay.
And then we went out the next morning, finished the round, as you do, and then you had to restart in the afternoon.
Right.
But there are players all over the place, and it was a bit all congested, and we're on the range warming up, and they came along to us saying, "Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Okay, go to the 10th tee." I said, "Well, I haven't got my starting time yet. Doesn't matter, just go."
What?
And they were saying to players along the range, "Are you ready?" Some guys would say, "No, I need 20 more minutes." "Okay, you keep going."
What?
So they just sent players off in the 3rd round of the Masters.
Not seated
In the bottom section.
Right.
The top 20 or 25, they were seated because that's the TV groups. But the first few groups out, they were going, "No, we're just going to send you off in random orders because we're trying to finish here. We just need to get going."
I don't mind that. That's thinking. That's thinking on the spot.
Thinking on their feet. So they kind of make those things up as they go. Sometimes
that's definitely
good luck to them too.
Protocol normally.
I'd like to be invited back to Augusta at some point.
That wouldn't even happen. That wouldn't even happen in a junior event, would it?
No.
So,
probably
but
not.
Anyway,
so just on Tiger, he didn't do anything wrong per se. He just signed an incorrect card, right?
he thought he was doing the right thing. He wasn't cheating in any way.
Yeah.
He just didn't follow the rules of golf in that situation.
Which happens sometimes.
It happens all the time.
You think you're doing the right thing, but okay.
Not Tiger's fault. But I do think Tiger should have said, no, this is the rules of golf have been this way for a long time. Thanks for the opportunity to play on Saturday and Sunday, but I'm not going to do that. That would have been nice, but he didn't do that. But I would have done it. I would like to have thought that I would have said, I'm not playing. Everyone for the last 150 years playing this game who has signed an incorrect scorecard is disqualified. And I would have liked to think in that situation I would have done the same thing.
You would have played in a heartbeat. You would have played.
But everyone's so aware of it. So I remember the story from you, Nick, from last year where you were saying you were having a bad day and your head wasn't right and you were going to sign it. You thought, hang on, I'm not sure on this, and you got your caddy to check it for you before you signed it because that's how worried you were.
Yeah, for sure. When you sign your card, it has to be spot on. Otherwise, the rules are there. You know what's going to happen.
And my number one.
This could be good.
It also involves Augusta.
Okay.
Guan Tin Lang, 14-year-old Chinese kid who won the Asia Pacific Amateur Championship and signed his ticket to Augusta. There were a lot of slow players that year. Lots. Playing in threes, 5-hour rounds, 5.5-hour rounds. Only one player got pinged for slow play.
Not the 14-year-old.
And they picked on the 14-year-old kid from China.
Gosh.
Now, I guess I'll never play Augusta.
You don't want to go. You don't want to go to Augusta, do you?
I'll now
I'm
never
keeping
get
out of
my
this
chance. But I think that was really, really dodgy to let every other pro in the field get off for their slow play. And I've heard all the stories and I've heard the reasoning and I've heard the rules officials tell their story why they gave this kid the 2-shot penalty, and I don't believe them. It sounded like garbage to me. So I think that was dodgy too, and that's my number one dodgy thing that I've ever seen in the history of golf.
Very nice.
Rightio. Where are we moving to now?
Oh, just a second ago, we had a voicemail alert come through, so we should have a quick listen to that, I reckon.
Okay.
You have one new voicemail. New message.
Hi guys, Ben Dunlap here, caddy for a long, long time. The appointment of Lucas Herbert coming to Ripper GC and LIV is a massive one. What sort of money, if any, do you think that Cam had to get him across the line? Because I would think north of 30 million to 50. Or do you think it's just a part of what LIV's money's going to be? That 4 million a week, 4 times, you win that plus the team money. In regards to Jed Morgan, shame. Kid has massive amount of talent and will bounce back. Maybe a little early for him. Whether he wins or he doesn't, he's set his life up forever. And the other question is Wade Ormsby still Mr. Number 5 getting paid by LIV not to play? Would love to know your thoughts. Cheers, guys.
A few questions there. Wade Ormsby I spoke to him last week, and he's still hanging on for starts here and there. He might sneak one if he's lucky.
Oh, he's an alternate?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He might sneak one, yeah. He might sneak that sort of thing.
It's a shame he didn't get the 4th spot in Ripper.
Yeah. But one of the questions was about Lucas and that 4th spot and what we think he would have been paid. Now, I thought we covered it off last week. I thought it would be a $5 million a year situation for Lucas. That would have been my best guess.
3-4 years.
Even
though,
though,
you're saying?
yeah, even though we all like Lucas and we think he's a young star, I'm not sure how many extra people will be tuning into a LIV event to see Lucas run around with the Rippers. So I think what would be fair would be, $5 million a year. If you earn more prize money than that, then that's on top. But a guaranteed $5 million a year, I would have thought. I'd be staggered if it was 10, and I'm talking US dollars, not Australian dollars. Yeah. So what does that bump it up to? $7.5 million a year, say?
Something like that over, 3 years? So just over 20?
Yep.
Something? Yeah, 30 to 50 is too high.
Yeah.
You're probably about the mark, maybe a touch more. Yep.
That's right. And Jed Morgan, I agree. I think he will bounce back. When I watch him play, and he won the Australian PGA by 1,000 shots there at one stage, didn't he? So when he did that, I thought, wow, who is this kid? And I also have faith. I also have confidence that Jed will bounce back at some stage.
I think so. Yeah, I think I've played with him before and seen his talent in action firsthand, and this kid can really play. His decision-making leaves a little bit to be desired from what I've seen. So once he gets that sorted and he has a bit more strategy, maybe a good caddy on the bag, which I'm sure he's got or had, that might help going forward as well. But the thing about pro golf is as you go along, you learn about your game and, well, you hope you learn anyway. When you make big mistakes, you go, well, I'm not going to do that next time. And obviously he's been making a few mistakes last year when playing LIV, and he struggled a bit. Shame he didn't get his card back. He went to the Q school and all that. So, but he'll be back playing somewhere around the traps. And as Ian said, he's set himself up for life. Which is
interesting. Be interesting world to live in too for a young pro. I reckon. I mean, can you imagine when you turn pro? I mean, I think back to my career. I had one decent summer. If I was thrown into LIV and all those big superstars and the extra curricular activities that are going on in the plains and all that kind of stuff, I reckon I would have lost my way a little bit off the course. And maybe that filtered down. That's just me personally. I don't know whether that's happened to Jed or not, but it would be a fascinating situation to find yourself in as a young lad full of potential, won a tournament, found yourself hanging out with DJ and all the rest of it, and you're trying to improve.
Love getting voicemails. If you want to leave one, talkbirdietome.com.au, and we'll play it on the show. You mentioned a second ago, Nick, about Jed having a Jed's caddy. You know who also had a caddy in the weekend?
Kazuma Kobori.
Yeah.
He had two, actually.
Yeah, he had a kid. He had a kid who looked like he was a Japanese tour player, but he had the glasses on Saturday. He looked like a K-pop member.
Ren Yonezawa.
That's right.
Good player too.
Can you remember the name of the second caddy on Sunday?
Reese
Gee,
Thomas.
Good. Yeah, you're good.
Reese
Well done.
Thomas, who was also got his card
New
here
Zealand
in Australia, but didn't get to start in the field. So
Yeah.
hopefully got a little cut of the check, maybe.
Yep.
It'd be nice.
All right. Well, play the music.
Wow. The Ping Global results. Here we go. On the PGA Tour at Torrey Pines.
Oh, listen, he's got a...
Vive la France. Pings, by the way. Pings. Matthieu
Yes.
Pavon, Ping player. First Frenchman to win on the PGA Tour.
That surprised me when you
I
told me that.
really did. I thought, surely Van der Velde or... Actually, when you think about it, there hasn't been too many over there. Maybe way back when.
Well, that would have counted.
Who else you got?
If
Thomas
Van der Velde-
LeVay.
If Van der Velde won,
Yes.
that would have actually counted.
Yeah. And Thomas LeVay lost in a playoff too at the British
Yeah, okay.
Open, so that would have counted as well.
That's right. Were there two Frenchmen in that playoff? Oh, no, there's two Australians.
No, two Aussies.
Two Aussies in
Who
that
were
playoff. Steve Elkington and
Yep.
Stuart Appleby.
Yeah, well done. And who won?
Ernie Els.
There you go. Yeah, you're good on your history. Well done. Which course?
Was it Muirfield?
It was Muirfield. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anyway, France's Matthieu Pavon defeated Rasmus Højgaard, as we mentioned earlier. Ryan Fox was actually making his debut as a member of the PGA Tour.
How'd he go?
He missed the cut. Unfortunately, as did Jason Day, who's won around there before. That was a bit surprising. And Harrison Endicott also missed. Out of the Aussies, Aaron Baddeley tied for 37th. Minwoo Lee, I think he eagled the last hole to make the cut. A really good effort. He finished tied for 42nd in the end. But anyway, great result there for
Just when you mentioned Jason
Fox.
Day, I saw something on the coverage that sparked. So the FedEx Cup has been going for 17 years. Only one player has qualified all 17 years. I'll let you think about that for a second, see if you can get it.
Okay.
But there were two Aussies who had played in 16 of them.
Yep.
One was Jason Day and one was Adam Scott. Yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking the other one would be
The number one who's
the
been,
number one
who hasn't missed.
Don't tell me. I
hasn't-
played with him.
he hasn't missed.
I'm drawing a blank.
He's
Let me just think about
He's
that
had
for
a
while.
technique change in his putting just recently.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. He's got the shaft going up the other arm.
That's him?
Yeah. Matt Kuchar.
Matt Kuchar.
Okay, there
Well
you go.
done.
I knew I had to think about it.
Good stuff.
Drew a blank on his name. Anyway, on the LPGA Tour, that finish was unbelievable. They were playing the Drive-On Championship in Bradenton, Florida. Nellie Corder going up against Lydia Ko.
Was she 4 over after 16 holes, Nelly?
She was. And finished eagle birdie to Ty Ko, who finished eagle par. Now, Lydia Ko needs one more point to get into the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
3-shot lead, 2 to go. She's thinking happy days.
Yeah.
And Nelly goes eagle birdie, playoff. Unbelievable finish. And then she gets her on the second playoff hole. I think Lydia 3-putted, but... And watching Nelly play, you think, how can this girl ever lose? It's incredible.
What was she doing wrong? I mean...
I think
No birdies until...
wasn't holing any putts. Hit one in the water on a par 3, made a double. She went bogey, double, bogey, and then finished eagle birdie. So there's consistency.
Nice.
Now, Gabby Ruffles was making her debut as an LPGA member, but unfortunately she missed the cut as well. Robin Choi was the sole Aussie there. Tied for 16th. She was actually top 5 going into the final round, but unfortunately shot a 77 Sunset Strip. But a good result for her first event over there. On the DP World Tour at the Ras Al Khaimah Championship.
Yeah.
Torbjørn Olesen, the Dane. Everyone's been talking about the Danish twins. Well, another Dane popped up for a 6-shot win over Rasmus. He had a 4-shot lead starting the day, and he was level through 7. You know how these leads get wiped?
Yeah.
He eagled 8, and Rasmus bogeyed, 3-shot lead, and it was all over after that.
Oh,
so
goodness me.
very
What were his
impressive.
Middleton rounds? His Middleton rounds were like 62 and 63 or
Correct.
something.
Yeah. Just unbelievable. Now, he was famous for an incident 3, 4, almost 5 years ago now.
What is it?
Where he took those dodgy, you're talking about dodgy sleeping pills on a plane. And he did some things on the plane that he shouldn't have. That's right. And he couldn't remember what happened.
That's
and a lot of
right.
the players around him were going, no, this isn't this guy that we know. And sure enough, he took some dodgy pills
it
that
sounds
someone
like
had given to him to get him to sleep. And he just went nuts, apparently. And he couldn't remember any of it. Apparently a lovely guy, so great to see him playing well. And
got a fair
and he now
physique on him.
he now has an Aussie queen, which is awesome, obviously.
An Aussie queen?
Well, the Danes, we've got,
that's right. Mary.
Queen Mary. Okay, out of the Australasians, Daniel Hillier, tied for 23rd, Jason Scrivener, 47th, and Sam Jones, the lefty that we saw down here. He was going really well after 2 rounds, but unfortunately struggled. Tied 68th, and Dave Micheluzzi missed the cut. So, he's just starting his DP World Tour season. Hopefully he can get it going as we go along. Challenger PGA Tour of Australasia, obviously here down at Rosebud. We had the WebEx Players Series Victoria, which Mark and we commentated on, and the Lord of the Greens, Kazuma Kabori. That's what the nickname is that we've called him.
Yep.
Thank you, Paul Munnings up at the PGA, for that name.
It was a good one.
Very good. It was a good one.
It was a good one.
Given he's a New Zealander.
We didn't speak about Ashley Lau enough in that tournament. The 61, 68 to finish 14 under on the weekend, to move from, I think she was the third group off on Saturday into the second last group, and play reasonably well in the back nine when she was a chance. I thought that was quite good.
3 out of the last 4, I think. That was an impressive effort to finish.
Yeah. Well,
And
she played great golf.
she did. Matty Goggin, unfortunately, our buddy. We thought, his ball striking tee to green should have won the golf tournament. If he'd have putted like Kazuma, he would have won by 5.
Yeah.
But he ended up finishing 3rd. A couple of results that one I missed last week because I didn't think the tour would start again. The Champions Tour, Steve Olker won again.
I'm glad.
First event on the Champions Tour, and he goes out and wins again.
He just keeps winning, doesn't he?
He's crushing it.
He's amazing.
I'm glad you've gone back in time, because we
I
don't
feel
show
bad for
Steve
that.
Elker enough respect for what he's doing. He's doing is outrageous.
And he shot back-to-back 63s, 9 under 63s to win the golf tournament.
Who did he beat? Stricker, and who else down the stretch?
Harrison Fraser. Yeah, unbelievable. The Aussies in the field that week was Mark Hensby, tied for 12th, Rod Pampling tied for 30th, and then we had the youngest winner on the Corn Ferry Tour ever.
What?
South African Aldrich Potgieter.
How do you spell that?
Oh, do you want me to go through
No.
it? Okay. Just think of poltergeist and take out a few letters. He was 19 years 4 months, and he's younger than who was the record before that was our own Jason Day.
Oh, Jason Day won
as a 19-year-old on the Corn Ferry Tour.
Holy dolly.
Unbelievable. So we got all these youngsters. I mean, 20-year-old Nick Dunlap, who won on the PGA Tour, 19-year-old wins on the Corn Ferry Tour, and Kazuma, what's he, 22?
22.
Incredible. So, anyway, that wraps up the Ping Global results.
We have got a heap of feedback, guys.
Let's go.
You ready for it?
Always.
Okay. Last week we were at Huntingdale, and it was fantastic to be there and see what they're doing with the course. We took a couple of pics when we were there, which we asked for captions on. One was, Nick, you looking forlornly at Robert Allenby.
Yes, I remember it well.
Yeah.
I helped his three-peat that year.
Yeah, we had a heap of comments, so I'm not going to go through them all because there's like way too many. There's a couple of really fun ones. Cam Stewart has said, yep, you got me that time, Allenby, but I got you in Hawaii.
Well, okay.
You weren't there, Nick.
I wasn't there.
You weren't there.
Adrian has said, yeah, but you didn't beat Tiger twice.
That's right.
Hey, I
Which
like
is not
that.
bad.
Thank
That's
you.
more- that's
yeah,
good.
that's more like it.
The second photo was, Mark, you about to whack Colin Montgomery with a golf club.
Some people thought I was going to whack Craig Spence, but I wasn't. I was
No.
Colin Montgomery,
It's your favourite player.
Matt Swanee said, if I can cup my left wrist and open my stance, I reckon I can slice the haggis-eating jammy bastard's head clean off for the good of greater humanity. That's comment of the week, that was.
There's a lot of adjectives in there.
Yeah.
And this one from T.L. Armstrong. How about Marco v. Monty, a cage match, if a promoter can make it work, Vegas in summer, pay-per-view, no rules, and the winner gets the lemon jacket.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'd pay to watch that.
Yep.
We had a lot of comments on Huntingdale on the course, in particular about the chat with Mike Cocking. How good was he?
No,
He's a lovely fella.
a gentleman.
Really, really good.
And a former Victorian amateur champion.
Yeah. Mark has said, I wish the Aussie Masters could start up there again. That course is great for spectators.
Yep.
And it's going to be fantastic.
Always was. Fabulous. I used to live on the 15th tee back in the old days. My house was right there on the 15th tee. And one person after another would just jump over my gate. Like just jumping. I'd be coming out ready to play, right? I'm coming out, I've got the bag on my shoulder and, you know, my girlfriend with me, we're walking out, and there's 20 people on my front lawn jumping over the gate.
Is that how the Huntingdale 7 entered the golf course?
I'm not allowed to talk about the Huntingdale 7 ever again, mate. I've been
Surely
warned.
there's some feedback about the
No,
Huntingdale 7.
apparently they're going to break my thumbs if I say anything, so
Okay.
it's not going to happen.
Karen Harding has said, my parents were long-time and keen members of Huntingdale. I've seen the plans and I can't wait to see them come to fruition.
I really think Huntingdale will never have looked better when it's done.
Rob Williamson said, I'm really glad that 5 is back to a par 4, and that was what Mike was talking about.
Good caddy, Rob Williamson, and loves collecting golf clubs.
Yeah.
Loves it. And he drives trains in Melbourne.
Really?
Yeah, he's a train driver.
Oh.
Is he the one who...
Yeah, it's him. So I was waiting at Prahran Station ready to go to the footy, and the train comes in, and I hear, "Hey Marco, get out of the way!" Oh, who's that?
Was this on the loudspeaker?
He's on the loudspeaker. He's warning, get off the thingo. Anyway, I get on, and he came out. He came out and saw me and said, "Good day." It was he goes, "I'm driving the train."
Very funny. Last one on Huntingdale. This is from Greenkeeping Rooster. Great podcast. Love listening to the insights of Mike Cocking, and I'm looking forward to seeing the end product at Huntingdale. By the way, Mark, I agree with you on the lakes.
Yes, most people do. But don't worry, Mike Cocking will fix up the old mess.
We posted some videos last week, or you driving and also putting right-handed, Nick. There was about 3 videos.
Oh,
we got
yeah,
there.
Nico who, you mean?
Oh, sorry, Nico Who. Yeah, that's exactly right, Nico Who. Darren Blinkensop has written in and said, "Hey, Mr. O'Who, who would..." He's called you, that's what he said here.
Mr. O'Who, I like it.
Hey, Mr. O'Who, who would win a match between you and Cam Davis? 9 holes right-handed and the back 9 left-handed.
Oh, that would be interesting. But the way Cam Davis swings it left-handed, he's got me for sure.
He's got Nico Who covered, mate.
Oh, yeah. Give me a little bit of time. I'm practicing. I'm going to put another card in tomorrow, I think.
Are you?
Yeah.
Have you been practicing?
Pop up to... No, I don't practice right-handed. Of
gonna
course,
say.
I practice my putting right-handed, but that's about it.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Anthony's written in, he's pretty annoyed with you. Are you kidding me? I achieved my lifelong goal of a GA of 18 last weekend, and this bloke lobs up in an upside-down world and casually shoots 13 over. Where do you recommend I post my Mizunos out now for sale?
Now, if you get some pings, that might help him. Please.
Well, definitely would. Wayne McLeod has a suggestion.
Yeah.
How about Cobra for Kabori? As
Cobra.
a nickname.
Oh, because he's a
Cobra.
snake. I think Lord of the Greens is the way to go.
Kazuma Boomer was a good one, but that was only for his drives.
Yeah, that's if he was the longest hitter we've
Yeah,
ever seen. He would have been
exactly. Not on the
Kabuma
greens.
Kabori.
Final one. This is a question for you guys from Ben Hall. Hey guys, love the pod. You've spoken about the Grand Prix style World Tour a bit over recent episodes. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on how this could work. Couple of things to consider. How many weeks per year, and are there breaks? How many events are in the US? How many events would have to be international for it to be a true world tour? The majors obviously remain majors, but 3 of the 4 are in the US. Is there an opportunity for PGA championships to move internationally? The Fried Egg podcast, it's a great podcast, Fried Egg. The Fried Egg podcast have done a full ep on this, which was really interesting, but it was very US-centric. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, you're not going to hear my thoughts. You're going to hear Scotty Scheffler's brother-in-law's thoughts secondhand through me.
Okay. The source.
The source, all right? So they think there's going to be more than a dozen if it happens. So it's still an if.
Yeah.
If it happens, it'll be more than a dozen, half in America, including the 3 majors and some others, the really big ones,
Yep.
and then around the world. All those other details that you ask about, you and I scratch our head about each time we talk about it. It would be very, very complicated. So it's fair for everybody. How you get in, how do you drop out? Is it just done off world rankings? And, 1 week before a Grand Prix event, they have a look at the world rankings again and say, well, you're in and you're out. I mean, that would be a really simplistic way of doing it if it's just solely off the world rankings. And you get into every major.
Scheduling is the big issue.
Scheduling.
Especially when you go internationally.
Yeah.
Do you do it 2 or 3 weeks in a row, or do you have a week on, a week off, and are you flying back and forth? I mean, around the Open Championship, you'd have to do the Irish Open and the Scottish.
Yeah, you'd have 3 in a row, I reckon.
3 in a row there. Where do you put them all together?
Yeah. And while, by the way, while they're playing 3 in a row and they're the Grand Prix events, then the US Tour still goes, but it's just going to be the guys who haven't quite qualified for the Grand Prix events. So I think it's doable if you got everybody on the same page somehow. But I guess you got to get it past a lot of people. You got to get it past Tiger. You got to get it past whoever Tiger's equivalent is on the DP World Tour. You got to get it past a lot of folks. the advisory councils, the player advisory councils on both tours.
Yeah, I think tournament-wise, around that 16 number sounds about right. And maybe, you'd split that in half. Maybe there's 8 in the US, including 3 majors, so you got 5 others and then 8 internationals. And you go, okay, what are the 8 international events we'd love to have? But I think, and we've spoken about this before, is the PGA Championship should go overseas, not be an American event.
Oh, that'd be unbelievable. Yeah,
maybe just rotate it.
Yep, it's the World PGA. Yep. Goes back to America. I reckon it goes back to America every second year or something. But
exactly.
Every second year it goes back to America, but it goes America, Japan, America,
Australia,
America, and just make it work.
Yep.
Great question from Ben Hall. And if you have a question for Nick and Mark, go to the website or mention on the socials or drop us an email. There's loads of myriad of ways you can contact us.
Well, it is time now for this week's Masterclass.
And this week's masterclass is about uphill lies, because we saw a little bit of it over the golf on the weekend. We had Matthieu Pavon on the final hole where he didn't hit a great second shot. It was a pretty awkward lie, though, I must admit. He had 1 foot in the bunker, 1 foot out. But in the event we saw at Rosebud, we had Kazuma Kabori on the par 5 16th and also Matty Goggin, where they hit these big pulls off uphill lies. And that's the first thing you got to remember is off an uphill lie, the ball will go left if you're a right-handed golfer. It will always go left. If it's a downhill lie, it's probably going to squeeze a little bit to the right. So you have to allow for that. Now, how much depends on the slope of the lie and things like that. But a lot of it is to do with the setup as well, because I find the most common thing with sloping lies is people mishit the ball. Uphill lies, they tend to chunk them a lot because the club digs because you're going slightly on the way up. So the best way to do it is I like to widen the stance a little. And then, funnily enough, I'm going to lean my weight slightly into the slope, my lower half, so that I've kind of got that 50-50 balanced feel. A lot of people say, well, you've got to swing up with the slope. Well, that is true, but you do it with your shoulders. So what you do is you lean your left leg into the slope, and then you've got that nice balance, and then you tilt your shoulders back to align with the slope.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this is a different way of... I thought about this a little while ago because it was in my book and things like that. I've had some different ideas when I've been thinking about all this with the books. And then what you do is you just take a swing along the line of your shoulders. So you kind of, your lower half is leaning left, your upper body's leaning right to help you swing up with the slope. And then you're aiming further right because the ball's going to go a little bit left. It's not going to be a big swing. Because you've got the wider stance and you've got all these restrictions going on, it's going to be a slightly more of a 3/4 swing. So take extra club. The other thing about uphill lies is the ball won't go as far because you're adding loft. So take 1 club, maybe even 2, because you're going to make a 3/4 swing. And that way it'll be more controlled and you'll make solid contact, because it's all about the contact with sloping lies. If you hit the ball solidly, the ball will generally go around about where you want it. If you try and hit it too hard, you're going to lose your balance, you're going to pull it, you're going to chunk it, you're going to do all these different things. I'll post a video on socials. It will be in left-handed form, but Nico, who may make an appearance as well, and we might even get it in right-handed form for everyone out there.
No, I love that. I like what you're saying there. I mean, I've always just leant forward slightly and done the 3/4 swing, but I've never done the tilt
back, because that gets you hitting up with the slope. I've used to lean into it, but then I'd find I'd chunk a few as well. So if you tilt the shoulders, that just helps that little bit.
Yeah, well, in theory, that makes sense, but so does communism. So,
oh my God, what a way to finish.
Wow.
Apologies.
Jeez. Have you started drinking, mate?
I'll see you guys next week.
Cheers, Mark. Cheers, Dan.
Thanks for being part of Talk Birdie to me with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen. And if you want to be part of the show, drop us a message or comment on the socials. Or you can send an email or leave a voicemail at talkbirdietome.com.au. Thanks to the great team at Ping. They're the best in the business and they'll help you play your best. And the Golf Clearance Outlet. If you're after top quality at prices you won't beat, check them out. golfclearanceoutlet.com.au. Talk Birdie to me's executive producer is Dan Bradley at Kaizen Media. Sound design, Daryl Misson at loudzebra.com.